What's up, Internet, and welcome to episode 84 of Radio Radar. I'm Hollander Cooper, and here with me is...
Tom Agrino.
Yeah, Henry Gilbert.
Lucas Sullivan.
Ryan Telgenik.
How dare you?
The viewers at home could tell you Cooper was motioning to me today.
Yeah, we have cameras again.
Henry's a stand-up comedian.
Henry is a stand-up comedian now.
Did you introduce everyone yet?
I did. You're good.
Okay.
You made it, though.
Well, you can't just say that with no context.
I blanked out. I couldn't remember if you introduced Ryan and Lucas.
Well, so yes, I am. No, I am not. I signed up for a stand-up comedy class just to, we're on videos all the time here and
flex your chops
on videos, and just to be
more dynamic,
funny, dynamic, less nervous in on stage. Though one thing that made me feel easier on stage, I've went on stage one night for 3 minutes last night, and one thing that helped me not freak out beforehand, I was like, literally 100 times as many people as in this room watched me on a stream the day before. So, true. On our WWE 2K14 stream.
It was a good stream.
Our last video podcast had like 2,000 people watch.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who watched. If you haven't watched, we're putting... This week, we're just going to experiment with just doing the top 7, which is you're listening to right now. Yay, on video, people watching, wave at cameras, all the cameras.
I don't know which one.
All of them. But yeah, we're going to experiment. Let us know in the comments of the YouTube video if you like us doing this, if you want us to do the whole video, if you want us to... I don't know. There's video cameras in here.
Yeah, we can do things with the video cameras that are probably interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust us to do genuinely interesting things, but at least a little interesting.
So also, now if Ryan does the belly...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, soon I won't have ability to do that with anymore.
Dang.
The viewers at home can also see my new glasses.
It's true.
New pair of glasses.
You did get new glasses. It's no longer wearing adorably glued together other glasses.
Yeah. Most people didn't notice that unless I told them then that you can't not see it. But one quick thing I wanted to say about the stand-up night was...
give me a good joke.
All right, I'll tell you my first joke. All right, I'm going to hold...
The opener.
For the viewing audience, I'm going to be holding
Pretty sure you just fucked up the mic for the camera.
Remember the... Okay, it's fine. Go ahead.
I mean, it's too late now.
You're good.
Right. Well, so, guys, I came up on stage. You may see I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. There's a brand new Spider-Man movie coming out, which makes me very disappointed. I really did not like the first movie. First off, it's just so weird that, like, the guy who plays him is named Andrew Garfield, so you just have to say, like, Garfield is Spider-Man. He really hates Mondays. Loves lasagna. That's Spider-Man. And then second... as a kid, I always identified with Spider-Man more than any other superhero because Peter Parker was a nerd in high school, just like me, and in all the years before and after high school as well, just like me. But then I go see the movie.
That was not bad. That was a good one.
But then I go see the new Amazing Spider-Man movie, and... oh, man, Peter Parker is such a nerd. He rides a skateboard, has a photography hobby, and wears stylish clothes.
Don't forget
a geek.
Oh, sorry, I forgot you were telling a joke.
That
Dates a super hot girl.
That didn't happen. Never. All right. And one other thing I wanted to say about that night was that... before the regular open mic time, the guy who teaches the comedy class was also like doing something with a bunch of high school students, like 20 high school kids, who's like, hey, I'll teach you to be a stand-up comic. And so they all, it's like 2 minutes.
Take a suck. Oh, inappropriate.
It's 2 minutes of high school students at a time, like 16-year-old kids, like who... I just thought, God, I identified with so many of them, but I was also like, you guys are awkward and weird.
Were they funny at all?
I'm glad I'm not in high school. Basically, none were.
None of them.
Basically.
The one kid he sounded like Emo Phillips, stand-up Emo Phillips.
I don't.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
He sounded like Emo Phillips, but was also gay, and he was joking about like being the only gay kid at a party, and then he was like, I'm wearing red pants. Excuse me. I was like, as in, that was
I haven't seen him since 3rd grade, and I went up to him and I slapped him on the back, said, how's it going, you old moron, you drunk.
So he's not funny at all.
No, wait,
that is the lesson to be learned here.
You old so-and-so.
Mommy. And I realized, wait a second. if that's Jimmy Peterson, he would have grown up too.
See, he slapped a child. The construction of that joke is really funny.
Anyway,
I
feel like because it was disrupted, I lost the flow.
Yeah.
He says that, oh, look at that. That's Jimmy Peterson from 3rd grade. Hey, Jimmy Peterson, how's it going? He slaps him on the back. The kid starts crying, Mommy, Mommy. Then you realize, oh, wait, if he's Jimmy Peterson, he'd have grown up too.
Oh.
And then this one kid.
So he's a moron.
This one kid came up on stage and he was
Get
just
it?
like, oh, I'm a gamer. I'm really into games. And I was like, oh, man, time
Here
to
we
hear what our
go.
target demographic thinks about games. So I'm excited for this. And he's like, I'm playing this game called Payday. And I was like,
Payday.
Heist?
Yeah, the heist. And then he just like tells a completely aimless story with no jokes about just a game he played of Payday. And then at the end he goes like, and that's it. And he walked off stage.
Just like Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, he was very Kaufman-esque.
Kafka.
All right, but that's the comedy story for today.
Not so bad. Worth applause.
It's the top 7.
Top 7 best jokes from Henry's comedy class.
There we go. Tell
Just
me
kidding.
about the racist.
Well, that was the other weird thing. There's so there is a guy. There's a guy in our
This
class.
was your own fault. I could have let it
the
go.
last thing I want to say about it. Okay, last thing. But there's a guy in our class who tells some jokes that
He's a misogynist.
Usually the punchline is,
And a bigot.
aren't gay people weird? Or no, actually the punchline is, and he's gay. or that
I met this dog walking down the street, and he's gay.
Or that his
Hold for
wife
applause.
is, that's pretty close to his thing. Or that his wife is of Indian descent and he loves to make fun of her accent. Or that he has 6 kids and he hates them. And
Didn't he
Top
order?
7 kids this guy hates.
Didn't he order his Indian wife?
it sounds like it was a
Oh,
mail
boy.
order.
Mailed order.
Oh,
and
boy.
she's 11 years younger than him. So first off, somebody makes a joke about how like a guy before him makes a joke about how his dad married his stepmom and the age difference meant she was in kindergarten when he was graduating high school.
Good.
And how weird that was. And then the bigoted dude. he just starts going like, my wife is, he just starts laughing like, man, my wife's 11 years younger than me. And I was like, yeah, you see how gross that is, don't you? And anyway, so I didn't like his comedy at all. We are not.
You're not friends with him?
Our styles are not the same. I'll just say
Artistic
that.
differences.
You know,
Artistic differences, but he was very nice. He was very nice and encouraging to me. He was like, "Hey, you can do it, man. Go up on stage, yeah." Like,
you know,
so,
Every rose has
sort
a
of
stone.
related to that. My step grandmother is in fact 30 years younger than my grandfather, who is now dead.
and she's alive and having the time of her
Kicking
life.
it.
She's alive.
She's like, finally.
I
Is
would
that-
say
Live free.
Is that the grandma that's out there on the wall?
no. That's a different
Jeez.
grandma.
Okay.
Good looking woman.
Smoking.
You should stop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, screwed up.
The top 7 major game features you didn't know were originally glitches.
This is a good idea.
I liked it.
It's a good idea.
Number 7 is Mario's multi-coin blocks were originally patched out of the game.
Who knew?
So apparently
I like how all of these are going to be, who knew? You
so
can basically say the same thing about all of them.
yeah, pretty much. So you know the blocks themselves, the ones where you don't hit them once, you hit them multiple times and multiple coins come out. That was not intentionally or initially the thing. The thing initially was it was a very strict 1 coin per block, and then you move on. So Nintendo playtesters found the exploit, fixed it, and started to move on until somebody pointed out how much more fun it was when you didn't know how many coins were going to come out, and they had to put it back in the game.
It's interesting because it adds that like little element of like the spastic jumping. If you're like,
Right.
oh shit, I gotta jump as fast as I can, or
Which
else.
is something that we've that's just how that game
See, if there
is.
wasn't a video, I could have made this motion and it would
Scot-free.
lost to all. But that was Mario with the
Yeah.
verticality
Yeah.
of his movement.
I see.
Got it.
Continue your train of thought, please.
Just that it was fun.
What I want to know is, was it every block that did that?
No, apparently it was just some.
Okay, so
Which is how it ended up.
Yeah.
They pretty much just put it back to the glitch.
Well, it'd be boring if it were all of one way or all of the other way.
Yeah. But you end up getting the spastic notion,
Right.
which ends up being a lot more fun.
That's if we were in the UK, that would be a no word.
Spastic?
Yeah, they
It is it's like the other R word here, or like
Other?
What's the first R word?
or the
It's
is it the
retard.
Oh.
It's the word retard.
Oh.
You're allowed to say it if you say the word before it,
Okay.
Dude,
because then I'm just doing air
UK
quotes.
says some words that are definitely no-nos over here.
Some words that would be a little. They would make us like.
C word?
Some words that would be like.
They say it all the time.
Toss it around.
It's no big deal over there.
We'd have some niggling complaints about that word.
Yeah.
If they were to if
I
we were to
hate
use
that
it.
word.
I do too. It really bothers me.
I have niggling problems with niggling.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Devil May Cry only exists because of Onimusha's buggy combat. And Devil May Cry is actually sort of a weird case because Devil May Cry only exists as a game because Itagaki was asked. Nope.
Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya was asked to figure out what to do with the next Resident Evil, and he just made a crazy game where you juggle people with swords and guns. But the reason he even thought of that gameplay is because when Capcom was working on Onimusha, that happened by mistake. People were able to juggle enemies, and he was like, man, that looks fun.
Let's make a game about it.
I miss the Onimusha franchise that they were like
Do you?
fake movies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, I played those and was totally okay that they never continued.
I like that they were just such crazy CG movies. Like it was really, the game was okay, but it was fun to watch the CGI like cutscenes that were so elaborate and that they got the rights to. They hired real actors for the motion capture. Like Jean Reno is the most famous one to us, but also the guy, the
That
Japanese
guy.
that Japanese guy who
That dude.
he was in House of Flying Daggers. which,
Itagaki.
Was he?
Itagaki.
Yeah.
Kamiya. Sorry.
Well, no, that's what surprised me
What
too.
is
Finding out
Itagaki
that
doing
in
right
House of Flying Daggers that he was
Devil's
a
Third.
Japanese guy starring in that Chinese film.
Wasn't that canceled?
I thought it was.
Henry, what's
deep
Itagaki
under
working on?
wraps.
He still says the Devil's Third. He
Really?
says he's ready to reveal a publisher very soon.
Yeah,
Good work,
I'm
Lucas.
sure. Isn't that one of the ones that we're probably anticipating hearing stuff about at E3?
Probably.
That was a THQ
THQ.
thing at one point.
But the THQ sold it off when it still existed.
Yes.
Like,
THQ, who went out of business because of bad business decisions, realized that game had problems.
Yeah.
well, same with that. They wanted to make that Guillermo del Toro game, and they realized that wasn't
Insane?
gonna happen.
Insane.
Yeah.
They were insane to think they could make that.
Oh!
You should use that one next
Number
time.
5.
On the stage.
Number 5. Race and Chase was the precursor to Grand Theft Auto, and Grand Theft Auto only spawned out of it because Race and Chase had super aggro AI. So back before they were even Rockstar, the developers who ended up making Grand Theft Auto working on a racing game set in an open
DMZ?
world.
What
Yeah, it
is
was
DMA.
DMA. They were working on a game that was a top-down racing game where you could be cops or robbers, and you would just chase each other around. And they play tested it a lot because it wasn't any fun. They had in civilians. So they one of the issues was because they added civilians, even though you could run over them, that made people want to play more cautiously because you didn't think you were supposed to do it, even if you were allowed to do it. So the idea of a racing game where you wanted to play cautiously didn't work. But one day when they were coding the game or playtesting the game, something glitched in the cop AI, and the cop AI tried to drive through the player, which just meant that they were riding his tail and trying to drive literally through him. And they saw how much fun that player ended up having because he was like, holy shit, the cops are trying to run me off the road. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then they realized, like, well, why would the cops be chasing somebody like that? Probably because he did something fucking terrible.
Like killed a hooker.
Yeah, and then
stole
Or stole a car.
that sort of
Either.
spiraled
pretty
into
true.
making a game where the fun was getting in
they're-
trouble and then running away.
I'm not sure they're tantamount. And
You're right. As soon as I said that, I was like, that just sounded awful.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible human being.
It's okay. We can edit it out.
Good.
Except
Not
we're
the
not
video
going to.
portion.
Yeah, we're not editing
It's
any of this.
possible now.
Well,
Sorry.
Just stare into the camera for a few seconds.
I'm sorry.
There we go. It's all better now. But yeah, Race and Chase. If you look at it, we have a screenshot on the site from a GDC panel they did. It looks like what Grand Theft Auto 1 ended up looking like, except a little more 3D.
which is weird.
It is. I may have misused the wrong
regressed.
picture. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's interesting because that's probably, I mean, Grand Theft Auto might be the biggest franchise.
The biggest.
And it was because somebody fucked something up.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only reason it exists.
We all learn through mistakes. Did you know that?
Nobody's perfect, you guys.
Deep shit there.
Well, no, like that Babe Ruth. I think he had the record for most strikeouts and stuff. Like it's one of those things you hear in like inspirational posters. Like these guys who were record holders. Also, it's because they tried a bunch of times and failed, but then hit home runs.
Einstein flunked out a what?
I don't think that's actually true.
That's not true at all.
Okay.
Old wives' tale.
Old wives' tale.
That's sexist.
It's
Number
really
4.
sexist to animals.
Old wives tell tales. Man. That's just the rule.
Number 4, strafe jumping in Quake was actually removed at one point. So strafe jumping and also rocket jumping and all of the other
All of the things that make
Jumps.
Quake fun.
all the other jumps basically
Dude,
are.
we should play some Quake sometime.
We should. They're all pretty much just physics exploits.
Yeah.
It's the game's physics are kind of unrealistic, and if you shoot at the ground with the rocket, you get launched up. Or in this case, you're actually like swinging your weapon from left to right to gain momentum. But by doing that, you gain so much momentum that you're just constantly gaining speed, and you can go much faster than you're supposed to.
When you're doing it, it sounds exactly like that.
I trust you. And it's been in the game since the original Quake, and always sort of regarded as an exploit, to the point where I think it was in Quake 3 they removed it in a patch.
How are you gonna do that?
And then the outcry was so loud that they, in the next patch, put it back in and made it as if they were adding a feature to the game.
Because they fixed it.
Yes.
So we're
Yeah, I
Working
wonder
as
better.
intended.
I wonder if that was just like Carmack's weird programmer brain of going just like, hey, I didn't put that in here. Don't use that. Meh.
Yeah. Or if they made changes to it. I've met him, and he's known to.
It's funny.
Number 2.
Okay.
Are we on 3? Stop.
Get it
God, I
together.
hate that noise so much.
You're the only one with a cup.
Number 3.
Number 3, creep denying in Defense of the Ancients nearly broke the original version of the game.
Oh, Dota.
So Dota, Warcraft 3 mod, creep denying is, if you haven't played a MOBA, Ryan or Tom, can you give an explanation as to what minions are or creeps are in a MOBA?
Well, they're just like little AI-controlled dudes that funnel from your base, and they cause a stalemate in the center, and your job is to kind of create an advantage in which they're pushing against your enemy's
Yes.
Ebb and
base.
flow.
And one of the main ways you
Even
gain
flow.
experience, because it works kind of like an MMO or an RPG, and that your character's leveling up, is by killing those minions.
Yeah.
I don't ever. So I played Dota back in the day. I don't ever remember realizing that you could creep deny.
Yeah, if you
I
hit
had
A,
no idea.
you could attack your own units
Probably
if they
why
were
I
low
lost
on
the whole
health.
time.
And if they're low on health and you kill them, in the way the game works now, or Dota 2 works, you deny your opponent of some of the experience and some of the money. In the
fact.
original versions, you denied them of all experience and all money, meaning that if you were good enough at it, you could totally shut down your opponent from ever leveling or gaining experience at
Gaining
all.
life.
Can you attack your own creeps in League?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Fun fact, in Dota All-Stars, the original, and Dota 2, you can also deny heroes.
Yes.
Heroes.
So if your
I've done
teammate's
that
gonna
before.
die,
Oh, really?
you say,
You know
I don't
what?
want them getting the gold.
Well, you get friendly fire on
Yeah.
your own
friendly
hero.
fire.
It's mainly,
your own
you can only do it when they're under a certain percentage of
yeah,
health.
it's like 5% health.
And
or
it's
something.
basically grabbing the last hit. And in the original version of Dota, it was only in the game because there was never a time when it would be negative, when it would actually hurt things that much. It was mainly just for like single player or like actual campaign multiplayer where denying them made sense. But in a game where it's just like a 4 or a 5-on-5 game, it broke the game at one point, and they had to take it out of the game, fix it, and then put it back in, basically. All as a mod.
That's pretty cool.
Number 2. Number 2 is Street Fighter's combos were originally a mistake.
Whoa.
So,
First up.
yeah, the original Street Fighter, the genesis of fighting
Fighting
games.
Street.
Yeah.
What were the combos?
you could hit more than once in a row. Is basically it.
I know there's one where it's like if you do a Shoryuken and you jump into it at the wrong time, it'll like instantly kill you because it's hitting you 5 times, but the game thinks like, oh, it's just the first hit every time.
And this was actually discovered while they were making the game. So during the development, probably late in the process, they discovered that if you were fast enough, you'd be able to sometimes punch and then kick in rapid succession to chain together moves. It wasn't the intent, and it wasn't left in because they were like, wow, this is super cool. It was left in because at the time, since fighting games weren't a thing, and thus people obsessing over fighting games wasn't a thing, they thought like, well, you have to play the game a lot to figure this out. You have to practice really. It's really difficult. So no one will ever bother doing this. What's the point of fixing it? Little did they know that by leaving it in the game, they'd created a genre, basically.
Great stuff.
I have a Street Fighter story to share too about. He said it was the genesis of fighting games, but actually that goes back to Data East's Karate Champ was the first one, which was a one-on-one fighting game, and then they made Street Fighter, Capcom did, and Karate Champ, Data East, sued them and said like, hey, you're stealing our idea. We made a one-on-one fighting game. And then Capcom sued back saying like, no, it's a genre. It's a fighting game. Like people just make fighting games. And it was a landmark case that Capcom won. Like that it allowed genres to exist. That some things weren't clones now. It was within a genre. Cut to several years later, Street Fighter 2 is hugely popular. Data East makes a very direct Street Fighter 2 clone.
World Heroes?
I think that was the name of World Heroes. Like the coloring of the
Literally
menus,
hit that by mistake.
All the stuff looks exactly the same. Capcom sues them. Sues Data East, and then Data East's response was like, hey, there's a precedent here. This is a fighting game. You guys beat us before, and they won. Data East won.
All's fair.
Wow.
And that's
the
why
App Store is what it is.
I was gonna say that's why there's a new Flappy Birds clone made every 5 minutes because of Data East and Capcom having a dick size competition and both winning.
And yeah, they're the same size.
They're like, hey, we
You
did
learn
it
from this.
from this angle.
Yeah.
I have a recommendation to all you listeners out there. And
If
that
you're
is
doing a
the-
dick size competition,
God, in the unfortunate instance when you're doing a dick size competition and both dicks are the same size, you're gonna have to find a second tier of comparison.
I was going to say something
Girth.
very,
Yeah,
very
that's
dirty
Girth,
there.
Girth.
same size.
Oh,
Coloring.
I thought you were talking about ladies.
We're making a beauty contest.
Oh, coloring? Oh, are you racist now, Henry?
I think he means more like, is it consistent?
Right.
It's like when they
What color?
Splotchy or not splotchy.
Yeah.
One is gonna be
Splosh.
tan, extra
Tan.
points for tan.
yeah.
The thing I was going to recommend is Ode to the Two-Hit Combo. Look that up on YouTube. It's pretty cool. It's just basically the lowest combo possible because you need more than one hit strung together. And it's just that across a ton of fighting games. It's really cool. I recommend it.
That's a more relevant and interesting thing than what we interrupted you as.
I mean,
It's arguable, but
feel free to write in and tell us which was better. Number 1.
also the person who made these sound clips is going to be sending in more of them and has offered to do themed sound clips. So you may end up hearing even more interesting things for Tom to just ramble right over.
I like how you didn't even name check him. Out of courtesy. You have no idea who it is.
We're going
Google
to find
it
out.
right
Gonna
now.
find out.
We're going to find out, Tom. And
can-
then won't you look the fool?
In the meantime, I have a confession to make.
Okay.
So, as some of you may know, I've been doing a juice cleanse,
Oh.
a 7-day
This is
juice
gonna-
cleanse.
I don't want to hear about your weird poop.
Peter
know.
Sabal. Peter Sabal.
Sabal.
From Pennsylvania.
Peace
Oh, wow.
PA.
One night, because I know some of the people that listen to this. I was talking to them on Twitter. I was mostly just talking about. I was being drawn in this dark place where I was about to give in to Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. That would have. Holy Jesus.
What happens in number?
Been like a
on.
nuclear option.
Look,
We need to discuss number 2 before we can discuss number
very
1.
good. Very good.
I mistakenly drank an entire bottle of wine after having not drank anything for a good amount of time,
Okay.
which clouded my judgment, and I did in fact eat Taco Bell that night.
Wow.
So you literally
So your juice-
lost control of
Your juice
yourself.
diet includes
To be fair,
fermented grape
it was yeah, it does. I'll give up Taco Bell, but I'll not give up that alcohol. The Taco Bell trip, I only ate a fresco.
How do you know? You were drunk
chicken
off your ass.
taco. Well, that's what Cindy says, and that's what the receipt in my car said.
Oh.
So
In that case.
Not a chalupa.
I tried to give you Twitter strength.
I know.
Instead of giving Ryan Twitter strength, I literally sent him a picture of the meal I was eating.
Yeah, that didn't
I like
help.
how Evan was like, "Don't do this, Ryan. We love you." That's the perfect, relapse.
Number 1, creepers in Minecraft were originally intended to be long pigs.
That's so
pig.
weird.
What is a long pig?
It's a pig measuring contest.
You just line up the pigs. So, Notch, when he was making the game, didn't have any 3D modeling programs. Everything in there, since it's all based on cubes, was done through coding. So he decided at one point, I'm gonna make a pig.
A pig.
Make a pig.
Pig.
Instead, he mixed up the X and Y axis.
He screwed up.
He screwed up,
Axes.
yeah.
And he was like, holy Jesus, that's horrifying.
And he made it tall instead of long. And like you said, it was freaking horrifying. So he decided.
Yeah, I was like, oh, good.
So the reason I find this so interesting is because whenever I go to the store, go to Target, walk into any of the sections, there are creeper figures everywhere. It is
Yeah.
like the mascot of this figure.
Which looks like phalluses.
They do. If you go to
pointed
Target,
out.
they do look like giant penises.
They have balls.
They have balls. They do.
It's true.
There's no way to. I don't you just go to the store and there are giant foam creepers that looks like somebody's having a creeper measuring competition, and everybody wins. But yeah, it was a programming mistake that led to creepers.
Speaking of the phrase "long pig," did you know that the
No, I know where you're going with this. This
it's
is
a
weird.
cannibalism term. that,
keep
like,
going. What?
Yeah, when you
Humans are long pigs.
if somebody says like, "Oh, I'm serving you long pig tonight," that means they're serving you
Human.
human.
I did not know that.
Where did you learn that?
How does that become
I
a thing?
learned it. I forget where it started, but I learned it from John Hodgman's book. In one of the John Hodgman areas of my expertise books, he mentions long pig, and he says like, "Time to enjoy long pig." Haha! I just made you eat humans.
I think in Archer they make some jokes about it as well.
Yeah.
So does that mean creepers were originally pink?
Probably.
Wow, that
They were probably gray at first. So yeah, they may have originally been pink.
That'd be very phallic.
Yes, but that's it for the top 7. You can find a new top 7 every week on GamesRadar.com. And
Next week's, I'm told, is a doozy.
I enjoyed writing next week's.
Yeah.
And if you, I'll give you a teaser.
Okay.
There's an Amazon link in it to buy a gun cleaning kit if you're looking for a gun cleaning kit. Right in the middle of the article.
I don't
And
own
if you
a gun.
if you plan on buying something on Amazon next week, go ahead and just click that link first.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to buy the gun cleaning kit
No, you could buy a vacuum cleaner.
if you want. You can
Or-
buy a Ferrari.
Yeah, or you could buy
don't care.
a faux.
Can you buy a Ferrari?
I don't
On
know.
Amazon, probably not.
Probably not.
TrueCar.com.
But yeah,
Hearing those ads all the time.
new
It's
top
pissing me
7
off.
every week, and we'll be right back with the current events.
Goodbye. Thank you for watching the podcast. If you would like to hear the entire podcast, go ahead and tune in to GamesRadar.com or follow us on iTunes because it's there as well.